Rick. Just do that one. Pete, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, right there, yeah. Meeting called to order at 7 PM, January 26, 2022 of the Zoning Board of Review of the Town of West Warwick is now in order. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to do a prayer led by Mr. Callaghan. So if everybody could stand up, that'd be great. I'm going to do that.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing, please.
Lord, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
You just seated.
Kuchu?
Here.
Peter Kelsey?
Here.
Michael McPhillips?
Here.
Alan Hoare?
Here.
Richard Banks?
Absent.
Not here.
Tim Sullivan?
Here.
And Jerry Lee?
Here.
Or Mr. Claire?
No. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is are there any comments or additions or deletions for the minutes of the December 8th, 2021 meeting?
Mike, can't hear you.
You just have to speak directly into it.
Okay,
Sorry.
never been a problem before.
Mr. Chairman, hearing no comments, I move that we accept the minutes of the December 8th meeting.
For a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, before we even get started, this is kind of have a little bit of, not housekeeping, but kind of civics going on here. This is the way this works. For anybody who's never been here before, this is the way it works. The application will be called for hearing. We have 4 of them tonight. Legal counsel will introduce the exhibits. The applicant will present its case and be questioned by the members of the board, which is us. Persons in the audience in favor will then be able to speak and be questioned by the members of the board. Next, people in the audience opposed then will be able to speak and be questioned by the members of the board. After that, the applicant will be given time for rebuttal and be questioned by the members of the board. After that, the public meeting will be closed. Members of the board will discuss the matter and the board will vote on the matter. That's the way it goes. Your civics lesson for tonight. Okay. First petition is going to be number 2021-20, which is continued. Applicant is Keys Partners LLC, owner applicant same, premises is 40 Keys Way, plat lot 30, lot 15, zone business park. The applicant is seeking a special use permit to construct multi-contractor storage units of various sizes with a single common access on paved driveway. Buildings will be on a single story of slab foundations under section 5 regulation table for BP district 5.6.20.6. Required 50,000 square feet of contiguous undivided floor space or a special use permit of the zoning ordinance of the town of West Warwick as amended.
Mr. Chairman, while I have marked exhibits on this matter since it was on the calendar, however, today I received an email from Attorney Cronin that the matter is being withdrawn. For the record, since the exhibits are in the town file and have been marked, even though nothing is going to come before the board, I want to put the record that exhibit number 1 is the application. Exhibit number 2 is the radius map. Exhibit number 3 is the abutters list. Exhibit number 4 is the site plan. Exhibit number 5 are the building plans. Exhibit number 6 is the zoning certificate. Exhibit number 7 is the municipal lien certificate. Exhibit number 8 is the continuance to December 8th. Exhibit number 9 is a request for a continuance. Exhibit number 10 is a continuance to October 27th. Exhibit number 11 is a continuance to tonight, and an email, which I will read into the record, from Tom Cronin, sent Wednesday, January 26, 2022 at 12:15 p.m. addressed to me, copy to Stacy Ferrara. Subject West Warwick zoning, 40 Keys Way. Attorney DeFiore, as the attorney of record for the applicant, I'm writing to advise the West Warwick zoning board that the petition 2021-20 applicant Keys Way LLC, 40 Keys Way, assessors plat 30, lot 15, requesting a special use permit for the contractor storage unit is voluntarily withdrawn by the applicant. Please pass the application from the calendar. Let me know if you have concerns, Tom. In view of the fact that the matter never actually opened for hearing, the matter is withdrawn. And the applicant has the right to do that since it never came officially before the board.
Is there no waiting period if they do choose to reopen this?
No, because if the board had opened a hearing on it, then they would need the board's approval to withdraw it. And the board could say with or without prejudice. The fact of the matter is that each time it came up, it got continued without ever getting open. So they filed and now they're pulling the file out. So it's,
Do we need a vote?
if they want to, they have to start all over again.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
just
sir.
add to the record also.
Yep.
The application was from Keys Partners. Technically, Keys Partners, as of
Don't own it
a very
anymore.
short time ago, does not own the property anymore. Quality
Kelsey's right.
Foods has bought the
I-
property from Keys Partners.
I can't hear, Peter.
The applicant
Yeah.
does not own the property that they were before us for consideration.
It's been sold.
So they sold it to, in fact, another interested party that has also come before us at a prior time, which is Quality Meats, Quality Properties LLC. I just want to add that to the record, that very probably that's the reason that this.
I don't
is-
know what the problem is, but they have the right to pull it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we need a vote on this, Al, or just,
I don't think so.
No, I think he said.
Right. Now, no vote.
okay,
No vote.
No vote.
Okay.
No, they've just withdrawn it.
The second petition of the night, Jerry, you're gonna be in on this one.
Realistically, they could have gone into the clerk's office.
Okay, petition number 2021-23, another continuation. Applicant Susan Hamel, owner applicant Howard L. Hamel Jr. and Susan Hamel, premises 204 Pulaski Street, plot 8, lot 9, zone R8. The applicant is seeking a special use permit for proposed use of a single-family home with an in-law apartment under section 5.6.16, accessory family dwelling unit, and 5.6.16.21, reasonable accommodations for family members 62 years of age of the zoning ordinance of the town of West Warwick as amended.
Mr. Chairman, I have 4 more exhibits to enter in to the record, 15 being the building permit of December 29th, 2020, 16, the certificate of occupancy, 17, the file marshal's report, and 18, the building plans.
We already had the green cards, right? We already had those.
Those are already in.
Those are already in, okay, perfect. You're up, Stacy.
evening.
You're up, Stacy.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Ferrara. I represent the applicant. As you've indicated, we're before the board tonight seeking, actually at the direction of Mr. Assalone, a West Warwick building official, seeking special use permit to provide the single-family home as an accessory dwelling unit. As our application indicates, the building is a single-family unit. It's zoned R8. It is owner occupied, and the owners are over the age of 62. I do have a deed to the property if you so choose to view it. I also have the driver's licenses of both of the occupants acknowledging their dates of birth. As we indicated last time I was here, I was last before you on December 8th. These homeowners had obtained a building permit as recited to add addition onto their piece of property. They did so with a building permit issued by this town and received a certificate of occupancy just at the end of December of 2021. That building permit allowed them to add on some living area, an additional bedroom, a bathroom, and an office. During the construction period, it was determined that the owner, Mr. Hamill, has been home on hospice for a significant period of time. His health is not getting better, but in fact deteriorating. I do have a letter from his doctor acknowledging his personal health issues, if the board so chooses to see it. But basically, he has pulmonary issues. And as a result of his health issues, they're seeking permission to turn the addition into an accessory dwelling unit and add a kitchen. What they need to do is have their daughter and their granddaughter reside in the main house and have them reside in the back because of Mr. Hamill's health. It's our position that the relief requested is actually a permitted use under the zoning ordinance, not only under the West Warwick zoning ordinance 5/6/1621, but also pursuant to Rhode Island general law. I do have a copy of the general law. As I'm sure you're aware, the West Warwick zoning ordinance, section 21 of 5/6/16, almost mimics the state law and provides that the accessory dwelling unit is a matter of right by statute if in fact the homeowners occupy the single family, or are over the age of 62 and or have a disability. Now, I wanted to correct a statement I made when I was last before you. I indicated that Mr. Hamill was wheelchair bound, and I stand corrected by that. I'm not quite sure why I was misinformed or misunderstood, but I think it's anticipated that Mr. Hamill will eventually be wheelchair bound. And I think that's where my confusion stood. But at present, he is not wheelchair bound. He is home on hospice care, and because of his pulmonary issues, he does have issues regarding his daily activities, but he is not at present wheelchair bound. I have a parent who had the same diagnosis as Mr. Hamill, and in fact, I can testify that in fact that's the road that you're usually anticipate going down, but Mr. Hamill is not wheelchair bound. So I just didn't want to leave the board astray or make any misrepresentations. I know that two of the board members, based upon our appearance last year, indicated last month, went out to the property. And as you could tell, that the single family unit still looks like a single family unit. The outside has not been changed for the most part. There is a rear entrance to the building that was not there prior to the addition. However, it still appears as a cape, just like the rest of the neighborhood does. And we are not suggesting that any changes be made to the exterior of the unit at present. This property is not serviced by, I know this issue came up last time, it is not serviced by an individual septic system. It is on the sewer, public sewer. So there is no issue with respect to an ISDS permit. And as I mentioned last time before you, we're asking for this reasonable accommodation for purposes of Mr. Hamill's health. And my clients understand that the reasonable accommodation lapses or expires upon either both of them passing away, God forbid, or vacating the property as a permanent residence, or in fact, deeding the property to a third party. So this is not a permanent zoning rectification or declaration for purposes of the property. It's really just to deal with their special circumstances at present. It's my understanding that should the court or the board approve the request, that that declaration will be noted with the records of land evidence. And in the event those circumstances change, they have an obligation to notify the zoning board. And if in fact they wish to continue to use the property as an accessory dwelling unit, they'd have to file another application and be considered all over again. So I am before you with copies of the warranty deed, the owner's driver's license, if you'd like to see them, I do have
I
them
don't
with
think
you.
we need that.
You don't think
I
so?
don't think we need them.
Mr. Chairman, to follow up on what Stacy said, when this was before the board last month, I was of one opinion, that it was before the board because the board had the right to oversee what was being done. We've had. the
Many
board is
discussions. You've had many
the- the-
discussions.
The board is familiar with Mr. Brunero.
Mhm.
The next day, I received a call from Mr. Brunero, who strongly disagreed with my position. When I had the discussion with John, who I respect a great deal, I reread that statute. And whether it was the intent of the legislature or not, in my rereading, I came to the opinion that they created a statute that they put in the zoning section that says, whatever you got in your zoning matter, your zoning code doesn't matter. If the person is 62
62 and,
or is sick, you have to give it to them.
Mhm.
Well, I sent you a detailed
You did.
conclusion on that, that my opinion at this point in time is that they have the right to this, uh, to this, project. The only area that I still disagree with Mr. Bernero on is that I firmly believe, and I think Stacy just touched on it, that in the code and in the statute, all of these special use permits for accessory dwelling units have certain conditions, such as if it's no longer an accessory dwelling unit for that person, it ends unless they get it continued. So my feeling at this point, and I would advise the board, is that the board approve the special use permit
Mhm.
for the 65, 62 or older, along with the mandatory stipulations. And that would be my recommendation to the board.
Okay, so my question to you now is that this nice document that we get, that's nice typed out, that is, you can't be more than 50% of the square footage and your kitchen 50 to 75 square feet goes out the window. with that
Those are gone.
With that legislation. So that basically makes that null and void, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Pete, if you have any questions or comment, I know you probably have a commentary and a question, so go right ahead.
I have a few.
I'm sure.
First and foremost, I think this board has much more information than we did when you were before us prior.
Fine.
Going back to the ordinances, if you read the ordinances, our language for an accessory unit or an in-law apartment, as it's called in layman's terms, that really doesn't apply to this application at all. The fact of the matter is the owner of the house, the single-family unit, is owned by Suzanne and her husband, Herbert. I'm not
Howard.
sure.
Howard.
Howard, I was close. And they own the house. They have a large piece of land. They probably, I don't know, they probably had their bedrooms on the second floor. And they probably wanted to add an addition to their house. I took the liberty in going to the zoning department. And I got the original request for permit by the family. That probably was presented by their contractor. And nowhere on here is anything listed for a accessory unit. I'm a little bit older than a lot of the members, although Mr. DeFury is
He's got you-
older
he's
than I
got you
am.
beat.
He has me.
Sorry,
Well,
Al.
we discussed years ago, families very often would have a second kitchen. They used to call it a cook kitchen. Many times it was located in the basement of their home. But in this particular incident, or with this particular situation, the family wanted to put bedrooms on the first floor and have a new addition for them in their elderly years. I think some of the contrast or confusion is that they now wanted to make it an in-law apartment where they really didn't have to. I think Mr. Bonero also mentioned there is no need for them to even come before the board, mainly because of those reasons. And if you look at the application, the original application, it'll agree with that theory very, very easily. And they did get the certification, the CO. They did get their permit. And they built an addition. I think after that, or in conjunction with that, his health, Herbert's health got probably worse. Maybe the daughter and grandchildren looking to move in. I honestly don't see any need to go further at all. I would have no problem if this board decided to, well, not necessarily even grant it. When you're granting it, you're agreeing with the purpose of the application. I would be more comfortable of saying, we're going to drop the issue without prejudice. What's the legal term?
Dismiss without.
Dismiss without prejudice. So, and I'm not sure what this board should do, but the fact of the matter is, it's all about a kitchen. Let me just speak to that a little bit.
Well, the reason we're here is because of,
If I may just
I'm sorry.
finish.
Sure.
People remodel their homes, especially an older Cape or whatever. The Cape's not a big home, a big area. They have this nice addition, 29 by 30. 2 bedrooms, storage room, good sized bathroom, living room area, good sized living room, and there's plenty of room for a kitchen. So they're going to put a brand new kitchen in their expanded house for their retirement years. What's better than that? If the daughter wants to use the original kitchen, it's probably nowhere near the size this is, which doesn't conform with the specifics for an in-law or accessory unit. So
The problem with your suggestion, Peter, from my perspective, is that while I think they have the right to do it, as I've said, they file for the special use. If this special use disappears and in 3 years, they go to sell that piece of property without having had the blessing since they filed it, it could cause a problem for them. This way, they've got the blessing from the board that will state that it lasts only for that period of time and that they meet the standards. And I'm concerned about, not today, but if they go to sell it, since they have filed, by just dismissing it, it could cause a problem for them when the next building official comes in and says, hey, you put a special, you put an accessory use dwelling and you never got permission for it. That's my,
I
That's
understand
what
that.
that's what we're going to be voting on, Pete. That's what we're voting on.
I understand that, but I'm just going to add another thing.
That's fine.
We're going to vote to put a restriction on it. I'd rather not have a restriction.
I don't think
And I
that's.
think any realtor would agree with me. The more restrictions that you put on a building, the less value that you're going to make, because now you have that restriction to deal with if and when that changes ownership, whether it be from parents to children or just sold.
But that's not what's before us, Pete.
I understand what's
That's not-
before us.
That's not the purview of what,
I also,
we have a pretty narrow purview.
disagree with the
well, that's,
premise
well, that's,
that the single family owners qualify for an in-law apartment, because that's not the premise of it. If the child was going to have the in-law apartment, well, that's what our law indicates.
Probably if the child owned the building, then.
If the child owns the building, bringing in in-laws, but this is just the opposite. And I only bring this up because I personally wouldn't want the restriction on my building after spending the large amount of monies that they spent putting that addition on. My personal feeling.
Unfortunately, I believe that the Rhode Island statute, which mimics the West Warwick ordinance, I think it provides it in the statute. I don't think anybody has any leeway regarding that restriction. I think unfortunately, and it doesn't behoove me to say that, but that's what the statute reads.
I'm not
And it's by
disagreeing
right.
with that restriction. I'm saying you don't need the restriction. I'm saying the whole situation of saying that that is for an in-law apartment, they're not the in-laws. They're the owners of the building, wanting to make a better, comfortable house for themselves. Put on an addition. I could do the same thing in my house. I could put on an addition on my house to not only expand, to put another bedroom on my house, to extend my family room, whatever the case is. I'm putting on an addition where they had quite a bit of land. And again, we know that that wasn't their original purpose. Now, it all depends on what is better for your clients. I gave my opinion what I would do for myself, for my parents, for resale, whatever the case is.
Duly noted. Do we have anybody else in the audience who wants to speak on this matter, pro or con? You get to come up here and talk. That's the way this works. That man's gonna swear you in. Raise your right hand.
Swear me in.
Please state your name
William G. Chittick,
and your address.
196 Pulaski Street.
Would you spell your last name, please?
CHITTICK.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth,
Yes.
nothing but the truth.
Fire away.
We lived there for about approximately 6 years,
Mhm.
and we knew that the Hamels were going to go ahead and put on an addition.
Mhm.
They had every intention of putting on addition with bringing in their her children, her daughter and her granddaughter, and the daughter's boyfriend. That we knew that from the get-go before the certificate even came before you guys in 2020.
Mhm.
We asked them up front as to how they were going to go ahead and build the addition, and not me so much as my partner asked Suzanne Hamel, well, what exactly rooms are you going to put in there? And she said, everything but a kitchen. We have no intentions of putting a kitchen in. Yes, we know that Howard has had some health issues over the past year or so. Now, I didn't know that he was put on hospice. I'm sorry to hear about that, but it just seems like everything they've gone ahead and done, they've tried to go ahead and undershoot and try to go ahead and keep it away from the town. From building time, when they didn't get a variance abutting Michelle's property, the other side of her house, it just seems like one thing after another. They've gone ahead and tried to go ahead and just do it underhandedly. So what we see here is they always knew they wanted a kitchen from the get-go. Why they didn't bring that before you guys from the beginning, I have no idea. But we truly believe that that's what they always intended to do, even though they said that they weren't going to do it. And they're just going to ahead and trying to go ahead and sneak just one more thing in. There's no reason why they need another kitchen. Mr. Hamel is able to go ahead and sit out there and smoke every day.
Excuse me, let me correct the record.
Yeah.
They did, from the beginning, notify the board that they intended to have a kitchen. That's not something,
In 2020,
Wasn't before.
that
us
was
in
with the
2020.
building official. When they came before this board,
Yeah.
they notified the board about the kitchen.
well, they may have in 2021.
Yeah, it didn't come, it came before us in 2021, not 2020.
Okay,
Carry on.
okay.
If I may reiterate, they went through proper channels, sir, going through the zoning department.
Yeah,
They requested, here's the original request by their contractor. Date of the request is October 19th, 2020.
It came before us a few months
They were
ago.
given a permit.
that's fine. Good.
They were given a permit on December 29th, 2020. They received a certificate of occupancy on 8/5/2021. The board had nothing to do with any of what I just told you,
Until last month, a
Okay.
month or 2 months
just
ago.
for your own edification.
Okay, that's good to know. our perspective is that if in fact they're granted the okay to go ahead and put the kitchen in, is it becomes a two-family house. That's the way we see it as abutters, as property owners, as possibility affecting valuations of our building and property down the road. We see it as a two-family, not as an in-law apartment, not as, I've never heard this expression before, an accessory. That's something new to me. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that's in this book. I never heard it. I never heard it either till I got on the board.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
So,
never heard that either till I
you know,
got on the
I'm
board.
sorry that he's ill. You know, we're all gonna get older if we're lucky, right? So, we just prefer them not to go ahead and be granted the okay to go ahead and put the kitchen in there. They have a deck that they can go ahead and transverse into the old kitchen every morning and get what they need to get done. We believe that everything's, the cabinets have already been delivered. The appliances have been delivered. Everything's there already. So do what you may. Think what you want. I'm just giving you a bird's eye
Okay.
neighbor view.
Could you spell your last name again? I didn't get it.
CHITTICK.
C.
Chittick. CHITTICK. That's what I got to say.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good.
You have the floor if you want. You get the last rebuttal before we close
The
this.
lady wanted to speak.
Ma'am, did you want to speak too? Oh, come on up. You're the next one in the, you get to raise your right hand too and get sworn in.
Could you state your name, please?
Jacqueline Grant. Jacqueline Grant.
Grant.
Yes,
Raise your right hand. So tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
yes, I do.
You have the floor, Mrs.
Oh,
Grant.
Now, I just have one question. I just want, one question is, once the Hamels no longer own the property and when it is sold, would it be considered a two-family house? I have the same question.
No,
It's never gonna be
it's
considered.
never gonna be considered that.
At the
No.
time, it
No.
won't be, no.
It would never.
No,
That,
No,
that's,
because
You would
no,
need
the
separate
answer to that is
utilities
no.
and there's a
Okay.
lot of other things. You need separate utilities, you need separate entrances.
Okay.
There's a lot more.
And
that
it has
goes
to come
into
back.
it.
Come back.
And they
before
were-
all
us.
right,
yeah.
The
that's,
quick answer to your question is no.
oh, and it couldn't become rental property either.
No, not,
Okay, then that's my question. I thank you very
I
much.
mean, unless the Hamels,
No, once they've sold it. No, no,
Once they
once,
sold.
once they're no longer the owners.
If
Yeah.
they go to sell it,
Mhm.
the buyer has to come back and show that they're in the same situation
Mhm.
as they are.
Yes,
If that buyer doesn't have the same situation, it ends.
all right, thank you. That's my question. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I don't want to belabor the issue, but the statute provides for the relief that we're requesting. It is not a two-family now. It won't be a two-family. I don't see in the near future. And I don't quite understand how it's going to affect anyone's value, nor is there any evidence before your board. So I'd ask that the request be granted.
thank you, Stacy. Anybody else? Okay. Motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it. Okay. Discussion, vote, commentary. Pete, you already had your,
I will vote as the rest of the board votes.
I'll be voting yes. For the four reasons that are on here, you know, that they own the house. They're, it's a single family residence, the occupants, they're the family member, the occupants over 62. I saw Mr. Hamel myself a month ago. Personally, I saw him on the deck. So I know that what his situation is. So for those four reasons, I will be voting yes, with the stipulation that when they
Yeah.
go to sell the house, that it has to be informed that, what was that stipulation now? That long legalese thing?
The stipulations, and
Thank you.
Stacy can, the stipulations by statute are that it ceases if not used in the same reason. your decision will be recorded, that the applicant notifies the building official every other year that it's still in effect, and the building official can inspect.
Okay, with that stipulation.
I can read directly from the statute because it's very specific. The zoning enforcement officer shall require that a declaration of accessory family dwelling unit for the family member or members and and its restrictions be recorded in the land evidence records and filed with the zoning enforcement officer and the building official. Once the family members with disabilities or who are 62 years of age or older or other family member no longer resides in the premises on a permanent basis, or the title is transferred, the property owner shall notify the zoning official in writing, and the accessory family dwelling unit shall no longer be permitted unless there is a subsequent valid application.
Keep that near and dear to you, Mrs. Hamel, okay? Keep that very close. Okay.
I'm sorry, was there a provision in there that said any family member that lives there?
I'm reading directly from the statute.
You should-
Um,
Once a
Family, I'm sorry, go ahead.
once a family member or members with disabilities or 62 years of age or older no longer reside in the premises on a permanent basis, or the title is transferred, the property owner shall notify the zoning official in writing, and the accessory family dwelling unit shall no longer be permitted unless there is a subsequent valid application.
Okay.
That's the quote,
Mhm.
which if you just, if the board sees fit to approve it and prove it to the, just
Yeah,
prove it as
that's long
statutory,
stipulation, that's a mile and a
stipulation,
half
that's
long.
what it'll be in it.
But it says, if I can just, because what I'm reading here says that special use shall automatically cease and no longer be valid upon such accessory dwelling being occupied by any person other than an immediate family member or conveyance of the premises to anyone other than the present owner.
This is being granted
Right.
to them for their use. Simple terms, when that ends, it ends.
It does not
Right.
run with the land, it runs with the owners,
Yeah,
if you think of it that way.
Well, what's got me confused is that any person other than an immediate family member, now you're saying that the daughter and the granddaughter, which I would consider immediate family members, is
But they
that
don't have
correct?
They don't have the disability and they're not over the age of 62.
But it is being occupied by them.
Yes.
Correct, but if
No,
they
if
moved
the
out and then
person
like a stranger
with the
moved in, then it would
disability-
become null and void.
isn't there. That's who it's focused on.
So it's with disability and.
And or.
Okay.
It's not on,
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if it's on, it's not on the
When
healthy.
you said it, I wanted
If
clarification.
I might add something,
I
Alan,
guess you gotta have both.
are you referring through, from 5/6/16, 16?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not what, you gotta look at 5/6/16/21. On the top of the second column, there's language, but not all of the language that you stated are in 21. And that's what that's what the attorney for the applicant
Right.
is quoting from.
That's what they're basing
20
it on. Okay.
21
Because 21
makes
pretty much
anything happen.
overrides everything. Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's very problematic.
Right.
When it says zoning laws, it could contain setbacks. It could contain size of the property. Obviously, the size of the property doesn't seem to be a problem. When it says notwithstanding,
Right.
in spite of,
Yes. Okay.
but you can't look at the language in 16. You gotta look at what's in 21.
Any other commentaries?
Roll call vote.
Roll call.
Do we have a motion?
Motion, I take it's a motion to approve
Motion to
with
approve with
stipulations.
stipulations, the rather lengthy stipulations.
All right, so this is petition 2021-23. Applicant Susan Hamel, owner Howard L. Hamel, Jr. and Susan I. Hamel, 204 Pulaski Street, Plat 8, Lot 9, Zone R8. seeking a special use permit to construct an accessory dwelling unit. I make a motion that we approve with the stipulations as discussed.
I'll second.
Second it.
All right, Justin Kuchar,
Yes.
Peter Kelsey,
Yes.
Michael McPhillips,
Yes.
Ryan Morak,
Yes.
sorry.
Tim late.
Jerry.
Very late.
Switching
Jim Sullivan,
No, it's Jerry's.
This is
Jerry Late is on, he's on this one. Jerry Late's voting on this one.
I apologize,
Okay.
Yes.
sorry. Okay.
Motion passes. Good luck.
Thank you for keeping
You're
me
welcome.
informed.
He's got the next one.
He's got the next one. We're just gonna alternate.
Number 9.
Peter.
I did agree with
They don't have to withdraw it. They don't have any restrictions. Jesus, I don't see how the fucking lawyer didn't understand that. It doesn't matter. She's already paid.
Alrighty.
He's not that big.
Smarter people than me around. Sure.
Okay, moving right along. Petition number 2022-1, applicant Atwood LLC, owner applicant is the same. Premises 0 Atwood Street. Flat 2, lot 370, zone R8. The applicant is seeking a dimensional variance permit for a proposed use of a single-family home under section 5 use regulations, dimensions of the zoning ordinance of the town of West Warwick as amended. And Tim will be sitting in on this one.
Mr. Chairman, I have marked as exhibits, number 1, the application, number 2, the radius map, number 3, the abutters list, number 4, the survey, number 5, the building plan, number 6, the zoning certificate, number 7, the tax collector's report, number 8, the site plan, and number 9, the green cards.
Like those green cards.
I just submitted, my name is Lou Baldy. I have offices at 445 Budlong Road, Cranston, Rhode Island. I'm representing the applicant, Atwood LLC. I submitted the affidavit of notice to the secretary before I appeared. This is an application for a dimensional variance to construct a 24 by 44 single-family residence. The present use of the property is vacant. The size of this lot has 200 foot of frontage, 75 feet of depth. It's approximately 14,500 square feet. The applicant, when we put the structure inside the building pocket, he's going to require for a rear yard 2.31 foot worth of relief. He meets the front yards. Of course, he meets the side yards. The basic reason for him coming forward with the relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject property. It's long, but it's narrow. He's going to construct the same kind of dwelling there. It'll probably be a raised ranch, which is compatible with the general character of the neighborhood. And so least relief he's looking for the 2.3 feet. And one thing, they changed the burden of proof. And the burden of proof now, instead of being a mere inconvenience, it's losing all beneficial use. So they changed that by a ruling through the court. So now, if for a dimensional variance, you have to show that he would lose all beneficial use of the property, which is in this case, because it's zoned residential, 8,000 square feet. He's got 14,000. And it's vacant. So there's not much he can do with the property other than build his house. And that's about it.
Baldy, can you just come here for 1 second? Just come here. for
I
1
can.
That's the subject property, right? That's the subject property, right? It's long and it's narrow,
Yes.
Yeah, it's wooded right now.
but it's got grass and it's got,
No,
no, that's not the,
that's not it.
No, it's gotta have 200, let me see that again.
No, it's wooded.
Yeah, it is.
Look at it from the top view, like look at it straight down, like bird's eye view, satellite. It's all wooded. There's a mini driveway.
I think one side of the property,
I don't know, where I drove by, this is the only part of the street where you can build anything on that street, is right here.
No, it's all wooded.
that's
It's all wooded.
That's not right?
No, it's this one.
It's all,
long.
it's all the green
Yeah, there
trees.
you go.
Well, this is pretty long too.
Go by.
And it's got no parking. It says no parking on it either. No trespassing.
It won't want you scaring me with that,
Oh.
because when you look at the frontage.
We're
not on the record.
Yeah.
This conversation.
Okay, sorry.
People talking and then.
That's what we do.
Mr. Chairman, maybe I can clarify something here.
Yeah,
Are you aware of the dimensions of the left offset of the property and the right offset of the property?
So I'm
Building itself is 44 feet long.
correct,
Lower level is 24 feet wide.
correct.
Okay. From the left side of the house to the property line on the left-hand side, I think it's in I'll tell you in a second.
25 feet.
Okay, it's in it goes to the north. The north is 25 feet to the north is the property line from the house.
I'd have to look at my,
Well, okay, yeah, that's fine.
It is correct by the drawing. yeah.
If you look at the right-hand side of the house, heading south, there's 131-foot offset to the right-hand side of the house. Now, one would just look at it and one would think somebody might want to build a second house there.
oh, we've been through that.
Well, I'm, if I may,
Oh, you can.
just let me speak.
Oh, please.
Okay. I'm not looking for your suggestion
I understand.
or comment just yet. But somebody might think that that would be the thing to possibly consider. If you divided that lot in two, it'd be two lots at 7,500 feet,
Right.
which is lower than the R8
Right.
minimum. And if that was the case, someone would be coming back to this board if they tried to divide that lot for that purpose.
Absolutely.
If I might jump in, can't be done.
I understand that. I understand that. My question now to the applicant's lawyer,
Yes.
is there a particular reason that you know of? Is that area 131 foot to the south side of that proposed piece of the proposed building? Is that usable? Is it unusable? Is it
buildable?
buildable? Well, I won't use the word buildable.
Council and I wrestled for 3 months with splitting the lot in half and getting 75 and 75. We found that wasn't possible. And I,
In addition, this was a long discussion with Mark Carullo and myself,
Okay.
trying to work it out.
I just want to let
Yeah,
this gentleman know that I have no knowledge of that. When I look at this,
I agree. Well, let me,
I've been around the block many times, more than the normal person.
I
Miss-
can see that.
Mr. Baldy came looking for just what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
And he got shot down.
I understand.
But pleasantly shot down.
Well, thank you for bringing that up and putting it on the record.
It was a cerebral discussion.
I'm sure it was.
I won the way I looked at it, and Al, of
I
course,
can
was.
tell you the people on that street
So they have two lots.
have been verbal and called me personally that they're still concerned about that, sir.
I got 2 calls. One,
I'm not going to tell you who I spoke
no,
to.
it doesn't matter. To answer your question, I've done 5 or 6 plans that you're looking at. And one of the plans we did was plopping the house in the middle of the lot. And my client, who's going to develop it, said he has to move it to that side because the other side of the lot is a hill. It's hilly and there'd be a lot of digging. So he wanted to move it to lopsided to one side to avoid excavation. That's the only reason.
But you know, there's big pieces of equipment that he may not be familiar with.
Oh,
It's called ground moving equipment.
no, I understand. Yeah.
He
They-
moved mountains.
Right, if somebody were to come to the board, there's no way that he could sell the pieces of property. He realizes that.
So wouldn't it be advantageous
Mhm.
for that contractor or that property owner to place his brand new house in a more proper area on that lot that may improve his status in that neighborhood? Improve the value of the house by placing it somewhat in the middle of the area, because this doesn't look good to the person
The applicant's here.
that's sitting in this seat.
I understand.
Obviously, that's been
We,
considered heavily.
big time.
Well, boards change, solicitors change,
Well,
attorneys change,
I understand.
property owners change.
He has no, I can pose it to him, but is that gonna hold up an approval, or is it gonna be more for the building inspector?
I think the house looks great.
The house isn't bad.
I think looking for a
You're looking for-
2-foot
You
setback.
got a 25-foot setback, right? You
I'm
got
upset
23,
about it.
Right, that's what you got, right? You
I-
got a 25, you got a 23, you're looking at a 10%, right?
Right.
Long and short, cut to the chase, you're looking for a 10%, right? Thank you. Is this, can you come up here for a minute, please? Because maybe if I can show you, because I'm kind of messed up over here, because you don't have a street number, it's kind of odd. You can swear
State your
yourself in,
name.
he'll swear you in.
Name, please.
John Studley, Studley.
Raise your right hand. So I tell the truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Is the piece of property in between two houses, or is it not in between two houses?
Yes. Yes, it's in between two houses.
And does it have two stands that says no trespassing or something like that?
I believe there is.
Okay, so
I
that
haven't
is
been
it.
there for
Okay.
quite some time.
I got pictures of it, man. It's the only part of the street that's not developed.
No.
The only that, in about 5 or 6 houses up the street where, you know what I mean, in a reasonable amount of space.
This is the one you were looking
It's treed, and that was another reason why we wanted to keep it to one side. Because it's
I get it.
already
You'll-
opened and where the trees are, it's, I believe it's quite a bit of ledge there.
Okay.
So that's why we were trying to hug one side.
Mhm.
And it's conducive to the raised ranch, so we don't have a very steep driveway because we don't have a very long access driveway because we're far forward.
Mhm.
And it's not as steep on that one side as to the other side where it's like 6 feet
Mhm.
higher. So the driveway would
You
be.
have
like this.
gradual elevation on the other side.
Yes.
So if you're looking at the front of the building,
Yes.
there's a higher elevation on the south side of the property.
Yes. Yes, they're right.
Yeah,
And
Towards
the
the-
driveway would
towards the
be on the
street.
left side. So it wouldn't be so steep.
And your dimensions here would favor that in a raised ranch.
Yes.
The garage is
The
usually
garage
always
on
put
the-
on the low side.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense.
That's why I represent him.
But this doesn't. His explanation does. This does.
Oh, no. Well, no, because there's no topography. I think on the other maps that I had that we excluded because of doing the 2 lots, I think that had topography on it. You could see on that one side that it was higher. This is the low part of the lot.
And again, by leaving the trees, it looks more
You
natural
can't walk on it. You can't see.
where
That's what I mean.
the house is, we're proposing it to
Yeah, you can't
set
tell.
is almost clear.
Yeah, you can't tell. And I wasn't gonna walk on the.
Maybe I
property.
can, Mr. Chairman, may I ask the solicitor a question?
Yes, you may, sir.
Looking on his 200-foot radius map, Mr. DeFiore, would you say that it looks like that most of the houses on Atwood Street do not meet the zone, the R8 specification in that area?
I'd venture to say that
They're
those
all on-
houses were built
They're
before
all on
zoning.
7,500 square feet?
Yeah, but the fact is, Peter, that this lot was created in 1800.
I understand
Yeah.
that, but in many cases, we have people that come before the board to say, we want to put a two-family here. There's two-family across the street. Over here, there's two-family. This is two-family. What I'm saying is I think the whole area doesn't fit the 8,000 square feet specification.
Peter,
So-
you're probably right, because it probably was.
But this is
It
a,
probably
Yeah,
predates
yeah,
zoning,
I
I'm sure.
understand that.
That street
And
predates zoning, I would
and
say.
Someone might come at a later time
but you can't,
to bring
Peter,
that specifically up.
Peter, you can't render a decision
Based on that.
tonight
I
on
understand
what
that.
might happen.
I understand it.
Can I just? That's what we will.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
Now, and I
I
also.
knew that
did-
without having any of this
Thank you,
information.
Mr. Step.
At one point, I did a breakdown.
No, that's not part of this.
And speaking to the gentleman's comment, I did a breakdown on how many lots met the 8,000.
In that
Right, because
general area.
that was bolstering my argument
Sure.
that I made to Al.
In the general area, within the time frame of like 10 or 12 houses
Right,
up
And
the
there,
street.
and I think out of the 24 lots that were there,
Mhm.
5 met. And that's what I vehemently
Yeah.
argued with Al to deaf ears.
Mr. Baldy, I would venture to say once again, that street was built predate zoning. Okay, that street might have been built when it was still
No,
Warwick.
Maybe not.
It might not have been even West
And I
Warwick
was
yet.
not.
And Al
before-
might have been
And
there.
before somebody suggested,
And Al
I
might have
was
been
not
there.
around.
Okay,
And the other call I got was, so people want to know what he was going to build and how much he was selling it for.
well, that makes sense.
Who's that?
In the other call, I got 2 calls.
Yeah.
One guy said, I don't care what he does. And the second guy said, what's he building and how much is he selling it for?
Well, it's a nice area.
It is a nice area.
This is, and just to put, it's a shame, and I think you should get 2 lots out of it, because I think it's a waste of real estate. I just think,
I'd have to agree with you.
yeah, but the board wouldn't, so that's why.
I understand that.
Do you have an address number yet? Has
No, you-
an address number
No,
been
you-
stated
you-
yet? Or are you gonna
you'll
come
get that
before
when
us
you issue
first?
The building permit
Okay.
and the 911.
We know it's gonna be between 33 and 65.
Right, 33 and
so-
65, yes.
And also, just if I may put this into the record, I'd just like to recognize Mr. Studley. He's a respected member of the community, and the type of work that he's done is pretty much known to many people in town of Florida.
You got the ultimate blessing then, Mr. Studley.
On video. too.
That's, I'm done.
Good. I don't see anybody out there. All I see is chairs, no people. I think we can end the public comment right now.
I'll make a motion to close the public comment.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
I-
Look, the gentleman's looking for a 10% variance on a setback from 25 to 23. That's in the grand scheme of what the project is, I think that's a pretty fair ask. So I will definitely be voting yes on this petition.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Kelsey.
I agree with your theory. I will also be voting yes. Well, sometimes
Sometimes we like to talk about it every once in a
they
while.
commit
We're
to
learning as
their-
we go. It's
that
okay.
they give some narrative with their
Do we need a
decision
motion?
making.
Go ahead, Justin.
Excuse me, this is petition number 2022-1. Applicant is Atwood LLC. Owner applicant the same, premises at 0 Atwood Street. Plat 2, lot 370, zone R8. The applicant seeking a dimensional variance permit for proposed use of a single-family home. This is under section 5 use regulations. Dimensions in the order of the zoning ordinances of the town of West Warwick as amended, seeking 2.3
2.3.
2.3 feet for the rear setback. Make a motion that we approve.
I'll second. You're up now, Stacy.
Justin Crusoe,
Yes.
Peter Felton,
Yes.
Yes.
Alan Clark,
Yes.
and Tim Sullivan.
Yes.
Motion passes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Studley. You're welcome. Yep, good luck.
Take care.
Al, I don't see anybody out there and we have a fourth petition. Did they did they fly the coop or something?
Call the next one.
Next one, there's nobody here.
Call it.
Okay. Petition number 2022-2. Applicant Hulbert Jones, owner applicant Hulbert G. Jones and Cynthia H. Jones, premises 16 New Light Street, plat 20, lot 307. Zone R8. The applicant is seeking a use variance and special use permit for a proposed use of a single-family home with in-law for the applicant's children to care for the parents due to health issues. Under Appendix A, Section 5.6.16.9, 5.6.16.14, and 5.6.16.15 of the ordinance of the town of West Warwick as amended.
For purposes of the record, Sarah, when I went through the files today, I saw nothing in there regarding a request for a continuance or anything. As the clerk, you have no knowledge of anything. In view of that, the application was filed. The green cards have not been filed.
They're not going
The
anywhere.
matter is before the board tonight, and you have three choices. You can table it and leave it. You can deny it without prejudice. You have fortune. You can deny it with prejudice, or you can pass it. Those are your four choices.
Okay, we had a
We can
consent.
discuss it first.
I'd say, why don't we table it? But what,
Once
if, this is a big if, it gets to the tabling situation, is that where they have to re-advertise and they have to start from square one?
Yes. If you table it, the only thing they don't have to do is reapply. They could contact the clerk's office and ask that it be set down again, and they have to go through the notification. That's if you table it. If you grant it, which I don't see happening, it's granted. If you deny it without prejudice, then they have to start all over again and file a new application. If you deny it with prejudice, they can't do anything until a year from now.
Right, yeah, right, yeah.
I should say deny without prejudice.
I have heard nothing from anyone on this matter.
Because this could be the same as.
No, frequently, they will call me and ask, especially with the questions that I raised in my report to you. And some of the questions, to be honest, surprised me because there is an attorney
Right.
on the application.
Any application.
The attorney did not contact me. And it's not my job to
No, no, it's
contact
not.
him
It's
and
not.
say, hey, you filed for the wrong use.
So
As you saw from my report, I have some problems with this application.
Mr. Chairman, just. as a
Yes,
point
Mr.
of
Kelsey.
order, once you table this, if we're gonna do that, we should do it a little bit after we speak. Once
Okay,
you table it, you can't have any discussion on it,
okay.
okay? Now, I would like to
What's your
discuss
opinion?
it to some degree.
Okay. Fire away, fire away, Pete, man. Go right ahead, man.
I understand that the owner is not well. Looking at the drawing by Mr. Figurado, which, by the way, he is not an architect.
Okay,
He may do this. but He's not a licensed architect in the state of Rhode Island. If you look on the plans, the preliminary plans for estimating and approval only, not for construction.
yep.
If you look at, I don't know if you guys have opened this up and looked at the primary building, the left-hand side of that primary building is the bedroom area. There is no easy access from the principal building to the top level of the addition that they're looking to put on. The addition itself, the size of the addition falls closely within the parameters. It's about 800.
Yeah, it's about 800, yeah. It's
It's
800. It's in the
832
neighborhood.
feet instead of 800.
Yeah. It's in the
But
neighborhood.
it's 2 floors deep, so it's 1,600 feet, not 800 feet, okay? If you look at it, the kitchen and the living room are not upstairs. They're downstairs. So they're looking for a 26 by 32
That sounds like
foot
800.
addition
That sounds like 800 square feet. Sounds right.
times 2, top and
Top
bottom,
and bottom.
okay? Now, the
Because they'd have to take the garage out, because that's the side where the garage is.
the garage
The
is.
garage goes underneath. Yeah, the garage goes
on the
underneath.
Back
Yeah.
side of the primary house.
Yeah. Okay, man, that's all right.
If this is to even think of qualifying as a accessory slash family dwelling, the only access to, instead of demolishing the entire inside of the principal house, which I don't think they would do, they'd have to get access from the lower area. And it looks like it could be done going from down the stairs from the laundry area to the former garage storage and into the new storage area of the lower portion of the new,
Of the addition,
of the new addition.
of the addition.
Problem with that is that they'd have to make that 26 by 32 half the size and make it 2 levels from to be close to qualifying.
Yeah, it's like, it'd have to be 400 and
In order
400.
not-
400 on the bottom and 400 on the
In
top.
order not to
Be instead of 1,600, be
re-demol-
800.
to demolish their principal dwelling to get there.
I
But there's,
have a
it's
question before you
craziness.
keep going.
Yeah.
But when we began earlier today,
Yeah.
if they're looking, they own the house. It's their kids that are gonna be moving in, so
Yeah.
they don't even need to come in front of us. They're looking for it in addition to the
According
house.
to that
That's true. You're
2021.
right, actually, you are right.
According
With
to that
with new-
2021.
You're right. That's very true.
So
He's right, and you're right too.
If we haven't figured out yet, and I will put this on record, it would behoove many towns and cities to get that language and that,
Into this book.
to get that amended
Yep, it's quick,
At the
sooner than
state-
later,
at the
sooner than
state
later.
level. At the state level. In fact, I sent everybody, I was in a kind of a funny sarcastic
I remember,
move by saying that, but I apologize quickly after saying that why have any
right.
go up to a 3rd floor or a 4th floor, you know? Anyway. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell them that. Now,
I was just gonna say, they may have.
They
already
may,
figured that
may or
out.
may not, no,
I don't-
their
but-
attorney may not be, may
No,
not be as
I'm
sharp
just
as,
saying
sharp
it's
as attack.
picture one of our parents in this, in the upper level, 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and hallway. One of the bathrooms is for an existing bedroom going over from the principal house into the 2nd level of the addition, which would be nice. The only way this, I don't know,
They've got to put in
this
the-
is an I don't know type thing. Yeah, could they do it?
They've got to put in the elevator in that schematic.
That is where they.
But just for the record, again, he puts on their preliminary estimating for approvals. I don't know who would give an approval on this. Mr. Federato thinks that that's the right thing to say. I don't know the man, but I know a little bit about his reputation. That's all I got to say.
think we should deny without prejudice then. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
speaking to you, but that's kind of what, I think that's probably the general consensus, guys. Is that it?
Close the public hearing.
And make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Good. Go ahead, Alan. He's my second in command.
For petition number 2022-2, the applicant seeking a use variance and special use permit for proposed use of a single-family home with an accessory in-law apartment for the applicant's children. The applicant is a no-show. There is no there's no notice or request for continuation. Based on that, I would make a motion that we deny without prejudice.
Without, so he can come back, or with, so he's gotta wait a year.
Without.
Without,
With prejudice, he's got to wait a year. Deny
With prejudice.
Prejudice, he has to wait a year.
That's,
Right.
I would say without.
I would, deny without. That's my motion.
They
Yeah.
can, deny without. Because,
without prejudice.
Without.
yes, without,
Yes.
yes. He's in on this one.
Tim's out. All right, roll call vote. Dustin. Peter.
Yes. To deny, yes. Yes, to deny.
All right.
Yeah, motion to deny without.
Yes.
And Alan,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We did it without prejudice.
Yes, without prejudice. Yes, without, yeah. So the guy, they can come back, they can come back
Deny.
before a year.
Deny
Okay,
without
if they're ever gonna come back at
prejudice.
all, because Peter's right. They have to drive through their driveway, they have to go down their driveway into their garage, and that's what they're gonna build. Can't build on the other side because they can't build on the other side because they don't have any, they don't have any setback. You're done.
You're
You're all finished.
You're on.
You don't have to type it.
Are there- I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And for those of you who do not know Sarah, she's probably the best addition to this town that the town has seen in a long time.
Thank you for putting up with me tonight.
Sorry, where'd you
This is
come
my
from?
First. zoning
Where,
board.
where'd you work
I
before here?
used to be the clerk in Richmond.
Richmond, yes, I'm familiar with Richmond.
And she
Route 3,
is
right? Route 3,
spectacular.
right?
Yeah, well, it's, yes,
Where's Paul?
yes, 138,
So the,
intersection
so the
112.
town council hasn't scared you away yet?
No, actually, I love my council.